Hi, everybody. Hi, welcome back to the Hallmonitor of the Universe show. And I have a dear friend, Dr. Kat, an epidemiologist, which I'm going to say I did not know what an epidemiologist was prior to meeting you.
That's pretty common. People before the pandemic would ask me, if they asked me what I did for a job, I sometimes would just say I'm a scientist, because what would happen is I would say, oh, I'm an epidemiologist, and people would undoubtedly go, oh, is that skin? Are you a skin doctor? Because of epidermis, I guess. So that would happen. But now that there's been a pandemic and everybody kind of now, I feel like we're on the map now, epidemiologists. People kind of know what we are. And
Correct. And I remember being like, because my father's a scientist. He's a geologist. So I was raised by a scientist. Sorry, Dad, but it's the most boring science in all the land. I love you, Dad, but like he so badly wanted me to become a geologist. Look what happened.
And you're like, yeah, no. But
listen, I wasn't like, and he was really good with science projects. I was always really great doing the science projects. We do really cool stuff. It was a lot of fun, but like I was always just like, hand me the Barbie. I want to brush the Barbie. I have zero interest in rocks, science, anything like that. But
it's cool that he was like living in the Mojave Desert, though. If you're going to be a geologist, like that's where to be, I guess.
No, totally. And I feel like back then he really did have like a cool, like, I think he's retired now, but like the past, decades has been like him just doing business as opposed to like the science of it all, like kind of what he got into it for,
Yeah.
God, I'm sure when this started popping up, I'm sure you're like, oh, let's get to work.
Well, I kind of was. And it's funny because you study your whole career to be prepared for something like this if you're a public health person. And then when it happens, you're kind of like, oh, so this is what the job is. Okay, maybe it's not what I kind of thought it was. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, but you didn't sign up for the job thinking that one day we would all be on social media arguing with idiots.
That's absolutely true. That's something that I really honestly still surprises me to this day. That and for anybody that doesn't know, so I make videos pretty much debunking misinformation a lot of the time, misinformation about COVID-19 and the vaccines, public health kind of stuff. And that's kind of what made me start doing this, because I when at the beginning of the pandemic, I sort of downloaded TikTok and got on social media for sort of the same reason everybody else did. We were all kind of locked in our houses and we didn't really have anything else to do. Right. And then as I'm scrolling and seeing like people's dogs and their food and, the Hallmonitor of the Universe, you were like one of my first friends on TikTok.
That's what I was going to say. How did you and I meet? Because I just remember that time being so scared. And
I know. But I started seeing, I will get to that question, but as I started to get to all these videos with like COVID misinformation. And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to start making my own videos because this is crazy. Naively at the time, I thought, I'm going to fix this problem, but yeah, wasn't quite so easy. But yeah, with you were like one of my first friends on TikTok. I met you like in 2020. And I remember scrolling, and at that time, like just because of like your interests, I think like my whole feed was like makeup, like all kinds of like hair, and like then you came up in my feed, and it was a video I think it was the video you made that's like
I think I know what video you're about to talk about.
Like if I was a kid and I refused to wear a mask, my dad would have said, you're gonna fucking wear a mask or you're gonna die.
Or you're gonna die. And that was the joke.
I was like, and so I think I immediately was like, oh my God, I like this guy. And then when I saw another one of your videos and it was funny too. And so I said something like, oh, I always just auto like your videos before you start talking because I know they're going to be funny. Yeah.
I'm glad we met each other though, because I feel like at that time online, it was a lot like I felt that the world was going nuts. And this is like the birth of TikTok for America too. So like the birth of TikTok and the world going nuts. And I just remember I'm such an extremist in a lot of ways that like when the pandemic started, I mean, I was in LA on a TV set and they like rushed us off the set as if there was like an apocalypse happening. I'll never forget, it was raining that day. They were rushing us back to get us off of set because they were going to be held liable for COVID and stuff like that. And then everything just started shutting down, like it was shut down immediately. And then I came home to Texas and I was like, this is done. America's over. I'm going to tell everybody what I think about all these celebrities and what I think about everything that I've experienced in LA. And then we met each other. And I'm so glad I met you because I knew above a lot of people that I was watching, you were there to correct information. And you were also that you had comedy. You love to like laugh. That's something I love about you, Kat. But also like I feel like we're in the same sense of trying to like make things correct.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And you would repost my stuff on Instagram, which I appreciated very much because you kind of reach a different audience than I do. So that was helpful to me.
Right. I didn't think you'd say yes to this. I was like, there is no way she's
100%. No, you know what? Most of the time, I mean, selfishly, I was excited just to like chat with you more, you know, like, because we've texted and we've done voice text a lot, but I was excited.
I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity right
now. Oh, stop. No.
I'm not kidding.
No, it's funny because I think during the pandemic, a lot of people were kind of scared or not really knowing what the right information was. And the misinformation debunk videos got shared a lot. And so I amassed kind of a big following, not huge, but like bigger because of COVID, you know, and it's totally slowed down, by the way. I'm not amassing people the way I was in like 2020.
Everyone now is talking shit about celebrities. So my job's done.
I know, right? Yeah, you had your 1 minute news kind of like that.
Minute news, and then the original thing I started was celebrities I worked with and how I rate them. That's what I was originally.
Oh, that was and you are right. A lot of people are,
and I took a lot of them down.
That. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are doing that and copying you that same format.
I don't want to say copying because I was told a long time ago. I feel like that, but I was told a long time ago that. Two things, there are 10 ideas in the world and it is up to you to change that idea, grab that idea and make it yours, right? And then the other thing I don't even remember because I smoke too much pot sometimes and my brain is not all there anymore. But no, seriously, I mean like, yeah.
No, it's true. I mean, yeah, and that's kind of why TikTok is nice because you can kind of take ideas and sort of put your own spin on them. And for a scientist, it's kind of fun because I don't really get a chance to be creative in my regular job in like the normal day-to-day. So it's kind of fun to use TikTok to convey information because it is a creative medium for science, which I've never really had the opportunity to do.
Well, they started that whole STEM. I noticed that.
Yes, I know.
I did go over there for a second. I was like,
I don't have it yet. You know how they take time rolling things out? It's weird.
Mine's on there. Mine is like the third one over to the right or to the left.
I keep looking for it, and I guess
you should be on there.
I know I should. I know.
That's like your area for TikTok.
Yeah,
why are you on there?
Yeah, I have Explore, and I have Following, and I have For You, and that's
what the fuck? Let me see.
I don't have it.
Maybe I'm hallucinating.
No, you're not. I saw the email about it, and I was excited, so I keep checking.
Well, why the hell would they give dumb like me the STEM?
No, I don't know why I.
Like if it said Star Trek, I'd go over there. But
right. Yeah, that's your thing.
Okay, let me see.
That's so funny. Yeah, I want to be on there, but I'm not.
Discover, where would it be, I guess, right? Oh yeah, so it's For You, Following, and then STEM.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Well, you have more followers than me, so it's not anything to do with like followers.
They roll things out so weird. Like when they roll out like a new feature, a new editing feature, sometimes like somebody will say, oh, like it's so nice, we can do this now. And I'm like, I don't have that.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I got folders, you know how you can put your videos.
Oh, yeah.
I got that like way before everybody else. And like, I was like, that's so cool. And people are like, huh? And they couldn't even see it on my page.
That is true. People have 10-minute videos and I don't have them.
I don't have 10-minute videos. Yeah.
I don't need to be doing 10-minute videos. No.
I would watch your 10-minute video.
Okay, but like that's for like you, like 10 minutes.
I think we sent each other 10-minute voice text, but
no, really, I could do that. I love that Instagram will straight cut you off. I'll be doing the and then I'll look down in 30 seconds. I'm like, fuck, I've been talking this whole time.
And you're like, it's already sent and the person's already listened to it. I know.
So I have a question about vaccines, because I'm a little, I got original, I was bad. I snuck in the first one because I was so scared. Like I remember going to, I went from LA to Vegas. There was like this mass area you could go in if you were, and so I went in and I got to choose, and I picked Pfizer. It was Pfizer or Johnson & Johnson. I picked Pfizer. I've been boosted, and then I've been pricked 3 times. Mm-hmm. Now, my question is this. Me and my friends were talking about this out here. Do we continue it? Do we get another vaccine? Is this going to be a yearly thing, like a flu shot?
So when...
Tell the children, baby.
Yeah, I'm here for you. So when did you get that booster? Because that matters.
Okay, I have it in my, you want me to grab it?
Was it before this past September of 2022 or after? Like, was it?
Probably before.
So if it was before September of 2020, so it's like before Labor Day, the last one we had, then you're due for a booster now.
Okay.
Because in September of 2022, they introduced a new one that has Omicron. It's the first kind of new booster that we've had this whole time. So before that, you've been boosted with the original vaccine that was like the 2019 like Wuhan virus. So now there's this new one that we're not going to use that other vaccine anymore. It's kind of like you know how the flu shot every year,
it changes every year,
becomes obsolete. It's the same idea. So you were boosted, but you just weren't boosted with the latest one.
Gotcha. Okay.
So what's going to happen moving forward? So you could get that one if you want some additional protection. So in the fall, we'll get another new one probably that has been updated with whatever strain is going around at the time.
Cool. Well, I'll be getting it.
Yes. Yeah. So you can get it both times or wait till then. But yeah.
So how is it in Chicago with like masks?
It's Chicago. So Illinois and Chicago are two. No. I live in Chicago. I was just say Illinois and Chicago are like two very different things. Like Illinois always seems like, blue on all the political maps and everything. But honestly, like most of Illinois is very red. Yes. And so in Chicago, when I am going and running around and doing things, like I'll wear a mask in the store and because I actually have an autoimmune liver disease that I've talked about on my channel before. So even though I've had COVID. But
let me just be clear. No one has to explain why they are wearing masks.
No. But I do
have to be able to wear masks if they want to wear masks. But I understand why. But I understand as to why you feel the need that you have to say that.
Yeah, I like to protect myself because I have additional kind of things but you're right. I shouldn't feel like, I just didn't want people to think that I'm saying like everyone needs to wear a mask.
No, but it just sucks that you can't say how you want to say it because it's like it'll be misconstrued.
Because at this point, I feel like if I come out saying like everybody has to wear a mask, like people will just stop listening to me because okay, crazy. But anyway, but I do think in crowded spaces it's not a bad thing, especially in the winter.
Airports.
We've seen, yes, exactly. And on planes, I think we've seen now that when we do wear masks, the flu basically goes to nothing. Remember, there was barely any flu cases in 2020 or 2021 because we were isolating, we were wearing masks. So we've seen kind of what's possible, what we can do by just doing those simple things to get rid of the flu. And the flu is one of the major causes of death in the US, like for elderly people. So it would be, we'd save lives by wearing masks in the winter. But anyway,
it just sucks because we've been I see all that. And we've been in such a society where like the flu is just like a cold in everyone's mind.
What we call it endemic in epidemiology.
No big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I love too when the the reports were coming out about how much the flu compared to Corona, and it was a lot more flu, and people were like, you know, arguing that fact. And I'm like, no, but the fact is that we're not protecting. Like, my big thing was I never really get sick, okay? And I'm going to be completely honest, I've never had a flu shot before. I did get my Corona stuff. I've never had the flu, but I rarely get sick. So I went about and got really involved in all this because I'm living with my mom, who is older, and she's very healthy too, but I would never in a million years would want to give her it 100%. And then something bad happen and then me have to live with that for the rest of
no, it's absolutely. And that was another thing that's such an important point that you bring up. So, because not only people that are like have kind of some kind of health condition themselves need to be careful, but people, like you said, that live with somebody that's either elderly or older or has an immunocompromising condition or a multi-generational home where maybe grandparents live, you know, so that is a hugely important point.
Yeah. And my mom's boss, I probably shouldn't say this, but my mom's boss, she was on a ventilator for like 6 weeks, unconscious.
Oh, wow.
So like,
and she survived?
Well, no, she survived. She's fine now. She lost, and she was overweight, and there was a lot of like other things she's very good now. She's great now, but she's very nervous about catching it. But I will run into people out here because it's not talked about in Texas. There is no pandemic. There's no coronavirus. I will wear, if I have a customer come into the salon and they have a mask on, I will ask, I will say, would you like me to put a mask on? And usually they say yes, and I will. I'll even have some of the girls go, why did you put that mask on? And I want to be like, it's none of your fucking business. That's what I wanted. Like, why do you care if I have a mask on or not? It doesn't.
No, it's very nice of you it's nice of you to like kind of read the room like that, because like if I'll go in, like I don't want to ask somebody, can you put a mask on? But if they ask me like, would you mind or would you like me to wear a mask? I'm so relieved. I'm like, okay, yes, thank you.
Yes.
You know, like
no, but of course, and like I don't know. I just feel like I'm just so grateful, and I've said this to you, and I've said it to people, but like my Nana was the love of my life, and she got dementia and died, and she was in a home the last handful of years. And this is so ugly to say, but I'm just so glad she passed before the pandemic happened, because I don't know how people dealt with having their families in homes, in those places, like just thinking about having to, I don't know. And that's why I do that. I think about my Nana, and I think about if my Nana was around, how I would want people to take care of my Nana and wear 100%. Masks around my Nana. So I would want to do that around people as well.
That's so sweet. Yeah.
Well, like, I mean, that's kind of how she taught me, and my mom taught me too. It's like, you just be polite. It's like courteous. And it's a very Southern thing, which is funny. It's very Southern to be polite and courteous, but these Southerners are.
Well, what you were saying about like, how are things in Illinois? Like, people don't look at me weird in the city if I have a mask on. And you will see, like if I'm at a concert or something, which after I had COVID, I actually went to a concert because I'm like, oh, I just had COVID. I'm going to maximize this immunity. And there were some people in there also wearing masks. But if I go out to where my mom lives, which is 45 minutes outside the city, there is not a mask in sight, and people will kind of be like, why is she wearing a mask? Do we have a mask mandate again? Like, you know, like people think
they're just wanting to say that you have a mask on.
They're like, wait, is there a mandate again? Why are you?
No, they're saying it extra loud so you can hear. Is there a mandate?
Exactly. So it's very, very different in the city versus like outside of it.
Well, and people, we've worn masks before this. Like, I know it wasn't as big, but like my best friend and his husband, I used to make fun of them. They would travel a lot, and they would always wear masks on planes prior to the pandemic. And I'd be like, you guys are so stupid. Like, I would never, you look ridiculous. And that, I don't think I would ever get on a plane without a mask on now. I will have a mask on planes all the time now. Just because you're like
crazy. I know. I feel like that too, is that I don't think I would ride a plane without a mask either. And I can't imagine it. Yeah. So, but yeah, and my mom has asthma. And when I was a kid, she used to wear a mask. And because any like allergen would trigger her to have an asthma attack if she was like outside or something. So she would wear a mask for pollen and things. And so that's why it cracked me up at the beginning of the pandemic when people were saying like, oh, I can't wear a mask because I have asthma. I'm like, my mom did wear a mask because she had asthma, you know, like, that's why she wore one.
I'm glad kind of like, because I mean, I remember messaging you during all this stuff and we were like, this is it. Like, I mean, we were like, during the thick of the pandemic, like I just remember being like in LA and it just everything being shut down and we were like on movie sets and it was just like still so crazy. I was wearing like 2 masks, being COVID tested every day. It was wild.
Yeah, talk about that. Like I've heard, and I don't know this for a fact, but I've heard that Hollywood was extremely strict with COVID like mitigations just because they didn't want to lose time from their schedules and things when they were.
I don't know. So what I heard was when COVID came into play and they opened back up, 20% of production went towards COVID measures. So 20% of all production, that's a big chunk of money.
It's huge.
So that's like sanitizer, that's
consultants, I'm sure.
Correct. We had COVID monitors who were sweet little kids that just moved to LA trying to be actors, and I felt so bad for them because they'd come over and would be like, fuck off, like leave us alone. But it would be so annoying because you'd be double masked, we would be standing trying to talk to each other. It was just a miserable time. Like, and it was, what was so crazy is because of certain things, I was booked so much during the pandemic. Like I worked more than I did prior to the pandemic and that was another thing, because they wanted people that were staying safe and that wouldn't test positive.
Yeah,
people 100%. That would stay home. Correct. Because I mean,
they had the vaccine mandates too, right? So certain
and I don't
that were anti-vax couldn't work because they didn't
I remember that, and I don't know if SAG is making the vaccine mandatory. The last time I heard SAG was, in order to be in SAG, I think you had to. I still think that you have to be vaccinated, last I heard, to go on a set, unless you have what's it called? Some sort of, I don't know, religious. I don't know if that works, but
yeah, they have. Most people.
But I mean, it was miserable. I mean, the good thing is they would pay you for COVID tests, so you would have to COVID test before the day of shooting.
Yeah, that's nice. So you knew that you were. Yeah.
They wouldn't let you work. I mean, the whole thing was just. I guarantee you're probably going to see masks and shit somewhere, kind of like the Game of Thrones water bottles. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of stuff is starting to come out. Like I filmed that movie with Tom Cruise way before the pandemic, and it didn't just come out till like 6 months ago. So it's wild.
Oh yeah.
And I remember one time on Horror Story, someone did test positive, and I found out, and I was asking, and they didn't shut us down. And I remember asking, and they were like, because they had shut them down like 3 weeks prior, and they had to be shut down for a handful of days. So they were, because that was starting towards the end of me leaving. So they were starting to now then fuck off with stuff. They were like, oh, well, that person was around. Well, we don't care. Like, get them out of here.
So interesting.
It is. It's crazy.
Well, I'm glad that you kind of.
Oh, girl, I'm so glad I'm not a Hollywood baby.
I know. I love your, I'm sure you've talked about them on your show before, but Hall Monitor has some really great fiction, like not fiction, based on true story / fiction.
Oh, my little writings.
Yes, about his experience.
Oh, and they're back up because the company I wrote for, the site went down. I don't know what was going on, and then
they're really good for anybody that I love them. When they were kind of long and
so I got told. So my editor. The first one was really long, and my editor was like, they're great, but you got to cut the words down.
But I felt, maybe she's looking at it from like a more like, mass media appeal perspective. But I was like, even though they were long, I was always like, oh, it's done. Because I really liked them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, that makes me happy. I need to start writing more, I think.
Yeah, they're really good. So you should post them in the show notes for this episode.
Okay. Oh, what?
They're really good.
What else? In conclusion, what should we?
Well, what do you, so my channel on TikTok right now, I don't know about you, but I feel like TikTok has changed a lot in the last like 3 years since I started in 2020, like in spring of 2020. And
it's evolved rapidly.
I even feel like I'm kind of having a hard time trying to figure out like what works anymore on it. You know what I mean? Like for a while I had a good formula going and I had all the stuff that I did, and it, and now I'm sort of like, I feel like I constantly need to retool, because as soon as I have something that works, they change the algorithm again.
Well, so I was the other day when we were messaging, I was saying I was going to quit everything. So I messaged Kat and I was like, I feel like and you brought me back, because I was getting ready to delete all of it. And then I thought, no, I have Kat and we're talking. And I was like, no, let's just figure this out. But I find myself, and I was telling my best friend Marte this the other day, I find myself doing the same thing. Like, okay, this isn't working. I'm not even going over 1,000 views anymore. Like, what's going on here? Like, I got to shift. I got to do this. I got to do that. And what I find now is the only way I'm going to survive is if I'm going to do it without any expectation, I think.
Yeah. Like, if you just do, that's what I've heard from lots of people, is just post whatever you want, even if it's, even if it's just for yourself, and you'll find your people.
No, and that's what and sometimes,
but that's so like life too, right?
Well, and you know what's so funny is I'm so comedic, and like I don't want anyone knowing certain things about me, I guess, and that's not something I would ever think I was. I feel like I'm an open book, but I noticed, like, with this whole Star Trek thing, how much I would never have done content about Star Trek prior. That's not something I would have touched. It's not my brand. I don't know how else to say it. But as I'm watching this season 3 of Picard, I'm like dying, because this is like a childhood memory. This is like, they're bringing all these people back, and it's a show. I mean, if you don't like Star Trek, whatever, but Star Trek to me was like a bunch of people exploring the Earth, exploring the universe, and they're trying to make the universe better. And it was such a fun, cool, I don't know. So like seeing that, and now I'm like, why am I not doing shit I want to do?
Right. Like, and your video was adorable, by the way.
Well, like, and you know what? And it was so honest. And if I talk about it, I'm gonna start crying. Like, it was so honest, because as that scene was starting, I paused it, because I was like, if this is what they're gonna do, I'm like gonna have a mental breakdown.
For anybody that didn't see it, he has a video where he's reacting to, look at him now.
Crazy.
Because they brought characters back from,
so they brought all the characters back from TNG, Star Trek The Next Generation, and we knew they were all coming back, but what we didn't know was the second to last episode, they show the ship that has been destroyed in the first movie that you never thought you'd see again, but this is the ship that they were on for all 7 seasons of the show. So it's like, it's kind of like New York to Sex and the City, it's like a part of the show. So when they showed that this guy had been restoring it for 20 years, I lost it.
Yeah, that was cute. It was
I have glitter on.
I know, right? Well, just okay, because it's silver glitter, so just the tears just looks like the glitter. It works.
Yeah, so like on that note, like I am now starting to do stuff I want. Like I'm starting to do using the music I want and showing the thing, I don't know.
That's good. Yeah, I think that makes sense, because honestly, it's so easy to burn out when you try to do like a niche and try to figure out what you think, people want to see, and then you're trying to work at it, and it's really hard, And during the pandemic, I think back at how hard I worked on these videos, and I still do, but I used to do one like every day, sometimes twice a day, where I would be like reading articles and like distilling down art. Like I was like every day I was presenting like research articles, and now it's like if I do 2 of those a week, then we're lucky at this point.
No, I can't. People love minute news, and I'm like, bro,
it's a lot.
It's a lot. I love doing it, but like for me, the payout right now ain't good enough. Like,
and my videos are not even produced that well, so I can't even imagine these cooking people that look like have all the cuts that are like perfect. I mean, that definitely that 1 minute video takes them like 2 days. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes. And I will sit there, I have a company, it's called sound.me, that like sends me stuff now. You should look into it to see, but it'll send you like music, and it does, you do make a little bit of money. It's nothing crazy, but I've made like $100 in the past 2 weeks off of, because sometimes it's like $4, sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. I'll send you the info. But I don't know what I was saying about it though.
We're talking about how the minute news takes.
So now that's kind of like showing me like how, I don't know, I like it because it's kind of showing me newer songs, and it's newer stuff that I would never even pick up. But then the other part of me is like,
I know. I know it's a lot. I mean, and I think that's one thing that this whole, I never set out to be a content creator, because for anybody that doesn't know me till today, hi, I'm a university professor. So this was not something that I was planning to do. It wasn't like I'm going to set out and make content. I just, during the pandemic, saw misinformation being spread and started making videos. And I guess people thought I was funny and whatever. So that's kind of how
not just funny, information, like you knew what you were talking about. You cared. You were, yes, you did great. Yes, great.
And I stitched a bunch of boneheads, and like, so we had a lot of fun. So there's no end to the bonehead content on TikTok, like people saying crazy stuff. So anyway, but what this whole endeavor really taught me was, like, as you're scrolling and taking all these videos for granted, it really does take a long time, and it takes a lot of effort, even for bad ones like I make. Like I'm not, when I say bad, I don't mean the content's bad, but like the editing and the quality. I'm not like trying to make things perfect lighting or any, like, if I did all of that, it would be even another level. Even the level I'm doing takes a lot of time, you know, and I was surprised exactly how much time it really does take.
I have a friend, Katie Black, and I've been on her show a couple of times, and I chatted with her yesterday. I'm like, when do you, because like what I was thinking was, you were saying you never wanted to be on the internet. That was never something you thought of, right? I think like I've always wanted to be in front of a camera, like always. Like never, I was always performing. I light up. When people say I could never do it, I'm like, bitch, I love doing it. I thrive in it. But I do think for people, I am seeing this future. The future is in my brain. What is your piece of the internet? What is your channel? What is your game? Like, I really do see this becoming into kind of like the future. Like, it's not going to be everyone's just tuning in to watch something like Star Trek. They're going to tune in to watch you. They're going to tune in to watch me. It'll be whatever you want, when you want it, type of thing, is what I think. So get the piece now.
I think that's absolutely true, because I mean, even like regular, like this news streaming thing, I was telling you before we started recording that I got this nerdy headset because I do this news streaming program on CBS in Chicago, and it just sounds better when I have the headset on. It's a little more informal. But I really do think stuff like that is going to be the wave of the future. Like, instead of like the 10 o'clock news, like you just go to the channel on the internet and watch, you know, and it's really a totally different way of doing things, but it's definitely, like you said, it's always available. Like you can just go and watch.
That's what I'm saying. It's shifting. And I think that's why you see the government trying. I mean, it's just so interesting that the government, it gets all this money to ban TikTok, yet there's nothing about banning guns. And yet guns are killing people every single day in America. Yet we got this ban going through for TikTok, baby.
Montana already
I would love to see who's backing these bans. I wonder if it's like Hollywood people. I wonder if it's because so much has been taken away from what we're supposed to be looking at, which is TV, movies. That is kind of the agenda for this long time. And now everyone's got their own agenda, you know?
And I think the live streams on TikTok is going to be important moving forward too. Like, how long can you keep an audience? Because honestly, like social media, and I found this out through the whole misinformation thing, like, right, they don't take down misinformation videos unless it's like really egregious or enough people have reported it. Okay, so if there's just misinformation out there, they don't care.
The internet is the wild, wild west.
Yeah, because they get a lot of eyeballs on all they want, all the social media channels want is for people to stay on the app, right? So if misinformation is keeping people on the app scrolling, then they're totally fine with that as long as the people don't leave the app. So
yeah,
if you can keep 500 people engaged on your live stream for 4 hours, then you're gonna get rewarded for that. Totally. So they just want people to stay on their app and get their advertising and, you know, spend money and all that stuff. So to me, it's really interesting, like the different ways you can keep people on the app. That's why you get, you know, why misinformation goes so viral over, like if somebody's, you know, saying that they've got a video of secrets the government doesn't want you to know, that's going to go super viral, right? Even if it's all bullshit.
I'll watch it.
Right? But if I'm sitting there saying like, hi, these are some masks that you should wear, people will be like, no. I mean, you know, so it's like, you know, that's the information that goes viral. So that's going to stay on the app and get rewarded, even though it's bullshit, you know?
I was going to say, I do think the 500 people that are in those rooms, I don't think they're the smartest bunch of people.
It depends what they're watching. Like,
I'm just saying, I don't think they're sitting there watching Bill Nye the Science Guy. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I get stuck on sometimes? I get stuck on the ring lady. Have you ever seen like the ring lady?
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So there's this lady and she's like,
yes, I've seen her with the hole.
Yes,
and the bucket. Like, I want to get one.
All these rings, and then she's like in this sparkly light, and she's like doing this, and it's like a fake diamond. It's like moissanite or something, but in this light, it looks like the best thing you've ever seen.
Oh, I know.
Like, you know, and you know, if you bought it and got it home,
it's like a bubble gum.
It would look crap, but under this light, it looks like the most amazing piece of jewelry, and it's like $15. And she's like doing this, and then people are like, put on number 7, put on number 20, and I will watch that for like an hour.
Well, it's like QVC.
I get stuck watching that, and then I want to order like all of them, and then I have to be like, stop.
I love my friends. I love my friends who are psychics, but when I go and I'm scrolling and I go onto like a psychic live, and it's like I just pop in and it's like, no, he's not gonna want to marry you. I'm like, you guys, stop listening to these people.
The lady with the divining rods on TikTok, that's like, it's like going like this, and it's like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the smartest crowd watching.
Oh my God.
So there's solace in that.
And then the people are like, oh, if you gift me, then I'm more likely to answer your question.
I just think it's like,
how are the spirits knowing who's
I know, girl, how are you deciphering all the spirits with all
how are the spirit guides knowing who's giving you roses? I don't believe it.
MSU, girl, making shit up university. That's what it is. I'm like, bitch, I could do that. I get to there and be like, oh, death card.
If you're gifting me, it's more likely that I'll have a psychic answer.
Like, ooh, you just gifted me $10. Yep, you're gonna have 2 kids. They're both gonna be girls.
I don't think the spirit guides are tuned into your screen.
Maybe
no.
TikTok isn't good.
I get so stuck on the ring lady, though. I tell you.
Oh, I love it.
And the wig people.
The wig people, because this is the thing.
I mean, they're all acrylic wigs. So
no, girl, don't put them anywhere near a fucking power outlet, girl. They will go up in flames. Don't get it anywhere near, girl, because it will.
I'm like ruining your podcast.
No, this is great. Breathe. I am fucking hot. It's like there's no fans on because of the audio, girl.
I can't even breathe.
Listen.
Oh my God, the wig lady. I love those.
No, there's not just one. There's multiple ones.
Oh, I know.
They're everywhere. And then they put the wig on, and then it's that hard line. I'm like, ooh. Every time they put it on, I'm like, ooh. Put a hat on it.
I watch that though. We'll watch that one for like a half an hour, and they're all cute, but you know they would look terrible when you got them the same thing.
Totally. Unless you have a hat.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying though. I would be so much better on social media if I was not scrolling and I was just putting stuff out.
I know.
If I was just putting stuff out, I would be thriving in my life right now, but I'm not. I'm like wigs, rings, psychic, wigs, rings. Girl, constant, repeat.
I like that.
Do you ever not block someone that you don't like because you hopefully want them to see your shit one day? No,
so most
you don't.
of the people that I block are people that are harassing me, or they're like, you know, kind of COVID deniers or anti-vaxxers. Like, I don't block everyone, but if they're saying like some ad hominem attack against me or something, I'll block them. But
oh, me, yes, no, same.
I'm sure you get that a lot.
I gotta say, TikTok has gotten better in lives with filtering out inappropriate messages. I have noticed that they've gotten better with that. Okay.
I don't even have the messages on. I have that completely like
I should turn that off.
If someone
remember the one time you blocked me during the live and I messaged you on Instagram and I was like, you just blocked me.
I think it was probably my.
Oh, let me see the kitty.
She's so naughty. You know what she does? Like, there's tassels on my degrees, and she comes and bats them while I'm on the phone.
God, I
like,
love her. What is she?
This is Tabby. She's got a twin sister too. They're two naughty cats.
I just had to take my kitties to get their booster for their leukemia influenza thingy.
Do you still have Roxanne?
No, she passed in October. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's okay.
She
I took her in, she was coughing a lot, so I took her in to get x-rayed and she had lumps, cancer everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was time though. I mean, I had her for 16 years.
Yeah, I was going to say she had a pretty good life.
No, she did. I mean, it was absolutely fucking devastating, but she went to fucking Vegas. She went to Disney, baby. She went on movie set. Girl, she lived her life, mama.
She did. I love that. And she listened to a lot of good music.
I don't know about that.
You definitely have good music in your lives. So
yes, but I think she probably like, when I was in my drinking days, I loved to put on two songs. It would be either Roxy from Chicago or Roxanne, the Elle de Tango from Moulin Rouge. And I would wrap her up in a blanket and I would her and I would like,
loved it.
She hated it, but I loved it. But I like, and I do the whole thing.
Aw, that's so cute.
She will be missed. She was a 9-pound full of force wiener dog.
Baby.
All right. Well, I love you. Thank you for doing this.
I love you too. I was so excited all day that we were doing this.
Your lighting is so much better than my lighting. I am like, you have like this amazing outside lighting right now.
I'm so glad you said that. I have a whole bunch of stuff going on.
You have windows open, I feel like.
I have that. And then I have
that gives you good lighting.
I have that.
Oh, that's the thing.
And then on this side, I have that.
Oh my God, so you're lit. Okay, I need to get
It's lit.
I'm gonna show you what mine looks like right now. Hold on. This is so ghetto. The one is broken, so the other one is laying.
Oh,
there's a Christmas tree.
Your house is nice. Yeah, because I was watching like some video. So it was a TikTok actually that said you should have 10 and 2 and then one behind you.
No, so it's lit perfectly because you don't want this right there, that shadow. And because
I think
not lit right here, that's why you're seeing that shadow.
People are just looking at you because you look so hot today. So I don't think you have to worry about the shadow.
Well, thank you, baby. Listen, did you ever watch Star Trek or anything? Do you know anything?
I watched the old ones, like the 60s ones, but I haven't watched. And even though like I one of my friends sort of is on it, I have not watched it.
No, hold on.
We've just been talking during the pandemic. We don't like hang out or anything.
Okay, but it's like the best Borg. I mean, she's great. So I mean, you got a good. I mean, but yeah. So what was I gonna say? No, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. Anyways, listen. There goes the Basset Hound girl. She's telling us to go. Listen, you hear her shaking and everything.
She's like, I want my dad back.
Like, we're fucking done. Done. All right, I love you. Go follow Kat, girl, I'm gonna put all her social medias on here.
Yay!
Her Insta, her TikTok. Are you on Twitter?
Yep, on Twitter. I'm Dr. Kat Epi.
I love.
And I just fight with the Florida Surgeon General on there, basically.
Girl, Florida needs Florida. There are issues going on in Florida. I mean,
yeah, there are. That's basically all I do on Twitter is argue.
I need to get on Twitter then and watch that shit, girl. All right, listen. You tell 7 of 9 that I love her. Okay.
Okay. All right. Bye.
All right. I love you. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Love you too.
Smooches. How do we do this? End.